2021 is the beginning of a new decade, and also January is the beginning of a new year. So, as we transitioned from probably one of the most horrible years of our life, of our lifetime, probably our lifetime, hopefully, that is the worst thing that will ever happen, but we never know. We are now given a new opportunities to set things right again, to improve on the areas that we thought we lacked in the past 12 months, and try out things that we want to do, and also, becoming a better version of ourselves as we continue to say the same thing every year. I too do have hopes of making this year my year. I know it's a cliche saying, and we say it every new year. Oh, my new year resolution is this. I'm going to start to exercise. I'm going to do this, X, Y, Z. Now, we probably had a lot of plans that were unfulfilled in 2020 because of what happened, the global pandemic outbreak. Just kind of put a pause on everyone's lives and mine as well. In fact, it took me on a detour that I didn't or I have never really envisioned myself doing. And here I am in a different country talking to you about what kind of leftover bucket list I took from 2020 and what other things I have planned for 2021. If I had learned absolutely nothing from 2020, the one thing I want to take away is the fact that I learned to self-care. In 2020, because of the pandemic, we were always asked to stay inside for everyone's safety, right? And that gave us a lot of alone time to be with ourselves, with our roommates or with our loved ones, with our families. And it made us realize many things that we overlooked because we were so busy with what was happening in our lives. And one thing I noticed was my health. My mental health and my physical health. Physically, I wasn't at a point where I was satisfied with my body because I never really did extensive exercise since I'm always busy with work, or so I thought. So in 2020, I started to work out very lightly, just some at-home exercises by watching YouTube videos, and that really helped me, how should I say, become more aware of my body condition. And because I saw progress, just some tiny little progress from working out, I realized that just by working out 1 hour a day, it makes me feel so much more energized. Even though if I went to work, I feel more productive overall, and I feel more happy and more healthy because when I sweat, that runner's high, once you just get a really good workout, you feel good because the release of dopamines. So I realized, this is a habit I need to keep for as long as possible to, exercise regularly and keep my mind connected to my muscles. And mental health wise, that is a meter that is hard to fulfill because I realized there were so many things that I have put off to the side because I thought I had no time. I thought that because I was working, I can't really pursue what I want to do. I can't really put in the time to learn another skill. But in all honesty, those are just excuses. We all have the same amount of time every day, and it really depends on us on how we wanted to distribute our focus and what to prioritize. And I realized in 2020 that, you have a lot of time on your hand. Just by waking up a few hours early, I can get my workout done. And also, I can have just a little bit of time, 1 hour to 2 hours, to plan or just to do a section of what I wanted to do. Oh, you want to make a video? Okay, how about let's film some footages between the 1 to 2 hours that you have? Or how about let's go find the background music that you think would suit this video? Or if you're still in the planning stages, how about you plan the shots that you want to take, or what are the messages you want to convey in this video? That was my shoulder. Or what are some voiceover you want to do? And if there's some voiceover you want to do, how about let's get a draft of that script done? Now, content creating is only a portion of what makes up my happiness meter, my mental health meter. By doing those things, I feel happy, I feel fulfilled because those are the things that I want to put out in the world. But mental health also involves things that we cannot control, such as stress from work, stress from family. But I think it's good to have a balance of both, or learn to balance the things that you can. So the things that you want to do, if you had a horrible crap day at work, or if you had a bad conversation with your family, well, if it's with your family, at least you can reach out and negotiate to sort out things that you weren't happy with. Be honest and be truthful so that it will save you much more hassle and misunderstanding in the future. But if it's something work-related, something we can't really change, then how about we do more things that make us feel happy, that makes us feel in control. Do your own project. Make your own thing. Something that is completely controlled by you so you can regain that sense of confidence that, oh, even though at work things didn't go smoothly, there are things in this world that I can control and only I can control. And at the end of the day, it's easier said than done. This is just one of those things that we have to continuously remind ourselves. But that's okay. As long as we feel more in control day by day and not let the world intimidate us, I think that is a form of progress. Don't worry about what is going on in the world. Worry about yourself first. Take care of yourself first. How is your body doing? How is your mind doing? And once we are stable, then the things around us will begin to stabilize as well. So there's mental health, there's physical health, and there's one more type of health that I have just been doing a horrible job. I've been neglecting it for the longest time, and that is my financial health. So financial health, not in the sense of, oh, how much am I earning every year? Am I making progress as to, am I getting a raise? Am I doing better than I have before? But more in the sense of, what is my spending habit? What is my saving habit? Now, my spending habit weren't that bad, but my saving habit was not good at all because I haven't saved any money. I could argue that because I'm in my 20s and the job that I had did not offer enough to a point where I have the freedom to save. Everything I made was going towards rent, was going towards to utilities and student loans. That could be a solid argument, but in the same time, you could always save just $5 or $10, $20, $50, $100 if you're able, and in time, that will turn into a sizable fund that could help you if COVID ever decides to slap us in the face again and we all become unemployed. But I don't have that set up. I don't have an account set up, nor do I have a system set up. And that is a big problem I want to fix in 2021. I never had the courage to look at personal financing, because I thought, oh, that's not my game. I'm not really good with numbers. Plus, I'm not even earning that much. Why should I be worried about how am I doing financially 10 years down the line? 401k, bonds, funds, stocks. It makes no sense to me. And that is a absolutely wrong attitude towards personal financing. Which brings me to the actual core of this podcast, where I talk about what are the bucket lists, what is the bucket list for 2021, and what are my personal goals for 2021, now that you had a taste of what my new outlook is like. So starting with financially. It's always easy to do the hard part first, I think. And financially, I want to learn personal finance. I started to listen to different podcasts talking about personal financing, how to manage money, and how to save. And just a little bit about funds and bonds and stock, even though it's not really making sense to me, and I'm still looking for a channel that explains it in a way that makes sense to me that I can easily absorb. I am becoming more aware of what I should do starting from this year, starting from my paycheck next week. I want to accelerate the pace and accelerate the amount. Wait, accelerate the amount is not the right phrasing. I want to accelerate the time that I will take to pay off my student loan. So originally, I was scheduled to pay off everything within 15 years. So 15 years later, when I'm in my 30s and 40s, ideally speaking, traditionally speaking, I would be finally done with my 40K student loan. So $40,000 is not a lot. It's about the average student loan debt that people have in the United States. And I want to change that. I want to reduce it. I want to cut it not by half. I want to be able to pay off my loans in 3 years. I feel like nowadays people, or should I say specifically new graduates, new college grads, they are so comfortable with the fact that they have loans. Having loans is not something out of ordinary. The general consensus that you would have some form of loans in your life, whether it's for cars, mortgages, most commonly student loans. It's all right. You have loans, I have loans, we all have baggages. Tell me something new, right? But the point is, how much effort are we putting in to get rid of that baggage? It is a burden in our life that will follow us for many years and maybe even through different stages of our lives. And we already have to deal with so much crap that comes with adulting, that comes with finding a job, settling down in a new city. Why don't we get rid of one problem first? And I cannot speak for everyone, but right now, currently, I have a little bit more wiggle room where I can focus on my student loan first. I don't have to worry about my housing because it is covered by the academy. And living expenses wise, it's lower than it is in the States. So I have a little bit amount of money left over where I can spend freely. Now, I could splurge and buy nice things for myself to feel good at the moment, or I could suck it up, tighten my belt, and put all that money towards, okay, maybe not all of that money, but 80% of that money towards student loans, so that if I pay 3 times of the amount that I used to pay monthly, I can shorten my 15 years term to a little bit over 3 years. That is a big relief for me. Throughout my entire postgraduate life, I felt like there's this big rock on my shoulder, that I am always doing something not for the sake of myself, but for the sake of student loans. In middle school, high school, I was doing things for the sole purpose of getting into college. And now when I was in college, I was doing things for the sole purpose of getting into medical school. And now that I've graduated, my biggest baggage is student loans. I'm never doing something for myself, something that I want to do. And I thought that needs to change. In order to make real progress on, I guess you could say, my life aspirations, my dreams, I need to stop doing things that could be eliminated sooner if I put in the effort. So I've decided to pay around $1,500 a month towards student loans, and the rest I would try to keep a big chunk of that for savings. I want to save at least, this is ideally speaking because I know they would take out insurance and pension from my paycheck, but I wanted to save around $300 every month. It will probably be less than that because my pay will be reduced in the end. And then the money left over will be for food and also for just personal leisure. I can buy maybe some backdrops or a new mic or new clothes, new shoes. Those are the things that I would do last. So when I get my paycheck, my plan is that I will pay student loan first and then pay myself. Pay myself not in the sense where I'm buying stuff, but putting that towards savings. And then whatever I have left over, I can just scavenge and see what I can use it for. And if I don't have something to use it for, okay, cool. Just go ahead and put it back in the savings. Or I can take a little piece of that and put it towards buying stock. My significant other has been very interested in buying stocks lately, and stocks are a good investment because when we put money, when we put the monies that we save in the banks, it doesn't generate money. Well, maybe just a tiny bit, depending on what interests you have at the bank. But with stocks, it's a double-sided blade. You could win money and you could also lose money. So it's good to buy stocks from the companies that you use daily. So for example, Apple, or also with companies that you think will do well 5 years down the line. Because when you buy stock, you probably don't want to take out money next month, right? You want to wait a year, see how it grows, or 3 years, or 5 years. That will give you a bigger profit. Because the longer you keep it in there, the more potential it has to grow. So that is my plan for one, personal finances, is to pay more for student loans, save money, and then splurge last. To be honest, I don't think I will have any money left to splurge, but I can always adjust the ratio between how much money I have left to spend and how much money I plan to save so that I'm not living completely miserably. It's still important to enjoy life while I'm here abroad. And also, the things that I can do at my age. So I don't want to live a completely miserable life, but I still want to save some money. And as I mentioned before, $10, $20, $50, $100, those are all, good amount of money to save. Just make it a habit to save money. Julie, are you listening?
Yes, heard.
Now that we've talked about what I want to focus on the most, which is my financial freedom, I think it's important to prioritize that. Secondly, I want to prioritize on myself. Before we talked about physical health, we talked about mental health. So physically, I want to continue to work out, continue to follow the footstep of Chloe Ting. And also I wanted to try out something new. I want to try out new workouts. Is it deadlift or powerlifting? It's probably deadlift. It's probably not powerlifting. But I want to go to the gym. I had this fear of going to the gym because when we were in college, a lot of people in our sports team will go in and work out, right? And I just see these buff people around me. And I feel, one, very clueless, don't know what I'm doing. Two, just intimidated overall. I feel like they're always just waiting on me. Like, are you done yet? Do you even know what you're doing? So I don't feel very comfortable going to the gym. The atmosphere feels so intense and competitive. I don't feel like I can take the time that I need to do my thing. But I decided, this is a new area. There's not going to be college athletes walking around in the gym. It's probably just going to be like working people around my age, just trying to stay fit while snacking on late night food. So I want to do something in addition to home workouts. And my SO suggested that, hey, why don't you try lifting? And I said, wait a minute. I don't want to get big. I don't want to get really buffy. I want to be toned. And she said, yeah, it works on your abs, your glutes, and it will tone like what is this area called? The flappy part of my arm, when I wave goodbye and that part just like flaps like a butterfly. That's what I want to get rid of. I just want to be more toned. I also bought a pair of running shoes. Since I didn't bring it over to Korea, I thought I wouldn't get the opportunities. No, that's a lie. I thought that I can just go ahead and buy a pair here so I don't have to pay $100 for having my luggages over the weight limit. There's a really nice trail right outside of my apartment. And right now there's a lot of snow, so it's slippery. I've already slipped twice on the road while everyone was watching. Once all the snow melts, I want to run on the trails a few times. It has really nice scenery. It loops around, I want to say, this entire city, if not the residential areas. And I can also play basketball with that shoe as well. And it's one of those ugly shoes, so I can just wear it for workout and also as a part of my everyday outfit. But I did make a gigantic mistake. First of all, I didn't know that snow gets dirty. I think this part of the misconception comes from the fact that I've never really seen snow. I didn't grow up in an area that had a lot of snow, so I was really excited when it first started to snow here. But I realized on the road, it gets so dirty. It's like snow just turns into dirt water. And that shoe is white. So I won't have a chance to wear it until all the snow goes away. Or if I am willing to gamble for fashion and try to pull off the streetwear look where I am always rocking a pair of beat up shoes. Beat up white shoes. Beat up shoes that is no longer white, but used to be white. Beat up shoes that is probably in some shade of beige, if not gray, look. All shoes aside, mentally, in 2020, what I want to achieve is to retrieve the ideas that I left behind in the limbo. As I mentioned earlier, I postponed many things because I thought they were not important enough for me to focus on at the moment. But that kind of thinking was wrong. It wasn't because I didn't have time. Well, partially it was because I didn't have time. Secondly, it was almost as if I didn't believe in those ideas. I didn't believe that they were important enough for me to focus on. But in reality, those are things that I should give it a shot. I should try it out and then decide if that idea is valuable or not. It's like I'm almost automatically vetoing it before giving it a chance to prove if what I want to do is worth doing for in the long run. And now that I've set my mind to try to complete my loan repayment program in 3 years, I will probably be not stuck, it's not the right word. I will probably be in this position for at least 3 years. Now, that guarantees me a time to polish myself. What does that mean? That means that even though I don't know what I want to do as a career, I don't know what my dreams are, I have 3 years worth of time to figure out something, or at least get better at a certain skills. If I continue to post video in 3 years consistently, I should at least improve my editing skills somehow. And that is the skills that I am making progress on, which is better than not doing it or doing something aimlessly. One thing I always talked about that I want to make it happen, but it never happened because I never put in the effort to make it happen, was to revamp my channel. I have a YouTube channel, and on that channel I do many different things, but mostly I make covers for English songs, and also most of the times, Korean songs with my original lyrics. Now, I don't just want to sing, and that is why I started to write my original lyrics, because I want to be creative in that aspect. And now that I did that, I don't just want to make a cover and film a video of it. I want my videos to have a certain vibe. So I figured out what kind of combination of filters that I need to use to achieve that look, and I did it. The next thing I want to achieve was to change the way that it is filmed. I don't know if you're familiar with Color Studio. So there's a channel called Color Studios, and they invite different artists to sing. And every song that they sing, there's a different color background. And the space that they're shooting, it's very clean, it's very minimalistic. And I want my videos to have that look as well. There's another channel called Dingo Freestyle, and they have Dingo Killing Verse for rappers. Wait, Killing Verse is for rappers, yes. And Killing Voice is for singers. But despite the differences, the setting is the same. They have one mic, empty background, and changing colors. Now, I want that. Maybe not the changing color part, but I want to film my videos with this clean aesthetic. How am I going to do that? Well, even though my apartment is small, there are potentials. I can put a backdrop. Oh my God. I can put a backdrop on the walls, and maybe I can change different colors based on what songs I'm singing and what emotions I want to convey. I can tweak that. And I also want to buy a hand mic so it feels more like I'm actually singing the way you feel at a karaoke instead of recording in front of a microphone that is hanging from an arm. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just not the aesthetic I want to achieve. And that was always my goal. I wanted to make my videos look like that. Well, then, let's start now. Let's start buying all the little pieces that you need month by month, depending on your budget. Because remember, we're going to be sticking to our financial plan, personal financing plan, while making this happen. But we're not going to wait until, maybe I shouldn't be spending money on this. I should wait until I get a better job. No, let's start now. If it's too expensive to buy everything all at once, just buy it piece by piece. And in no time, if we stop procrastinating, Julie, you will have the studio or the space, the background that you've always envisioned for your videos. So stop procrastinating and go ahead and do that in 2021. Since we're talking about the creative goals I have for 2021, another thing I want to complete was to create a Spotify artist account. Many people have recommended me to do that. I didn't really have the confidence of doing so. I thought my covers were not crap, but not good enough to be put on a platform like Spotify. I always thought that it was a platform for artists, big artists. And on some days, I stumbled upon some cover channels, and I thought, wait, if they could publish their songs here, I could upload mine as well. Mines are not worse than theirs. And sometimes the qualities that I find on these cover channels are not like master studio level. So you know what? Why don't you give yourself a try and just upload your songs? Worst case scenario, nobody's going to listen to it. And so what? And best case scenario, finally, the people who do want to listen to it can listen to it other than YouTube. Because if they open YouTube, unless if they sign up for YouTube Music, that burns Wi-Fi or data. It's a lot more convenient to listen to music on Spotify or SoundCloud. So I want to tell myself to stop being afraid, stop procrastinating. Just go ahead and make your Spotify artist account, upload your songs, and we'll see what happens. Now, it's fun to make podcasts every week, talk about things that I want, but I was, educated, lectured? No. I was reminded about how important audiences are. So when we create things, most of the time we're creating because we want to, but as our audience become bigger and bigger, or as you're trying to grow your channel, your platform, you want to think about what is more applicable to your audiences? How is your content going to benefit the people watching you? So I realized that I need to start considering about my audiences from now on. And I also have to consider even promoting my content. I didn't really feel comfortable doing that. I just didn't feel like my stuff was good enough to be publicized, to share with people who I know as acquaintances, but not close enough to share my works with. But I realized I should utilize other social media platform to bring my works into the other people's attention. So maybe using things like TikTok. TikTok, I avoided TikTok for a long time. And maybe on Instagram. I'm still debating because I don't know if I want to share that part of my life with some classmates that I have. But at the end of the day, why are we caring so much about how other people think? But it's hard to break out of that mold. And I'm just slowly starting to become more confident in myself. So I'm still working on it, but I am on my way to the level of I don't give a single flying beep. I will finally reach the level where I don't give a beep. So until then, I want to expose my contents. Is expose the right word? I want to put my contents out there for many people to see, and that hopefully they will make a good impression on my new audiences. I realized I always had this fear of not being able to succeed with just content creating. And I realized most of the OG YouTubers that I followed, they started with nothing. That is not the right word, but they didn't come from the best background. They weren't really privileged enough to continue creating contents and having that, just really holding on to the thought that this will be the thing that I'm going to do as a career. For channels like Just Kidding News, Just Kidding Films, Ryan Higa, all of these Asian American content creators, they started when they were in a really rough part of their life. And through years, and I mean years, like 10 years, 20 years, they've lasted on this platform and built a solid audience who, really understands their journey and understands their message. And I never ever thought that I could be like them. I could make contents for a living, or for a good portion of my living. I don't know, maybe I'll have a part-time job on the side, but having this creative outlet making money for me, it was something that I wasn't brave enough to think of, or brave enough to consider it as a mean to my goal of, being able to live comfortably. I realized it was a mentality that I held on to, that I cannot make money from unconventional occupations. And it always draws me back to my original plans. I feel so scared that whatever I am pursuing or whatever I want to do won't be able to make enough money for me to call it an occupation. I just don't even attempt to put in 100% of my effort to pursue it. And I always see, what is this quote? People working out, when they post like transformation pictures, they have, what is it? Put in the work, trust the progress. Put in the work and trust the progress. I never considered doing creative jobs or creating or being a creator was a mean to my end. I didn't think that could fulfill my, fulfilled my needs to have a comfortable life or to live comfortably. But I'm lucky enough to be surrounded by people who believe in their dreams so intensely that it wakes me up sometimes. And this time it woke me up as well. If I made the decision to work my butt off for 3 years to become financially free, one, I will have more money in the future that I can invest or save. And also within this time, I can build on the skill that would contribute to my ultimate goal. Even though I don't know what my dream is, at least I have an ultimate goal. And that ultimate goal is I want to start a self-sustainable studio that will allow us, so my significant other and I, to create and pursue creative projects. His dream is to become a photographer, a certain type of photographer. Now, in order to have his work to generate enough money to sustain, our living expenses, is going to take time. And he has to establish himself, work on his skills. But he believes in his dream 100%, and he is working towards that. Everything he does is working towards that. He set goals that will propel him in that direction. Meanwhile, I am too scared to be 100% involved in the creative field. I had a YouTube channel for years, but I haven't really done anything solid with it. I'm just posting covers here and there whenever I please. I didn't really consider what my audience is. I didn't really consider how am I going to have more exposure. I didn't think about, if I really wanted to make money with YouTube, what am I going to do? What kind of content should I create? I didn't think about that because I didn't think that it will become a means to my end. It would become a way where I can make serious money from it. But I've made up my mind to not go back to the medical route, even the plan B medical route, where I go to, what is it called? Ultrasound school, and become like a radio tech, ultrasound tech, something like that, and make money and live comfortably. If I've done that, I felt as if I would waste more time doing something I don't want to, because I'm afraid that what I want to do won't succeed in the end. But I realized that 2021 is about having the courage to pick up what I have left behind months or years ago, things that I thought were once my dreams, to sing, to draw, to film. Now I don't have to worry too much for money. It's time for me to be a kid again, doing things not to fulfill some responsibility, but for the curiosity that I want to experience it. So I've decided that, so go do it. Make it happen. Stop putting it off anymore and giving my creative mind a chance. If the world doesn't want to do it justice, and if the world doesn't do it justice, that's fine. Go do it. Make it happen. Give it a try. If you're worried about views, don't worry about views yet. Worry about having a consistent upload schedule. Worry about keeping your videos the same quality. And once you can do that, you have good qualities, good upload schedule, then worry about how are you going to increase the exposure on your channel, on your video. How about tagging? How about promoting on Twitter or social medias? Worry about that after you start doing something. I want to start believing myself rather than denying myself in 2021. And I hope that at the end of this year, I will see progress along the way in many different areas of my life. Finance-wise, mental health-wise, physical health-wise. I hope everyone will have some sort of growth in 2021, this month, this week, or maybe even tomorrow. But it's okay if you don't see progress immediately. It takes time to grow. Even plants takes time to grow. Mold takes time to grow. We just have to keep checking it, believe in it, do our best to take care of it, and in one way or another, we will outgrow our previous selves and our previous mindsets. Cheers to a new beginning. Cheers to the 18th episode of Lactose Intolerant. Oh, I forgot to tell you what my goal. I set up a goal for myself. If I achieve this plan of paying off my student loans, paying off 40K of my student loans in 3 years, I will reward myself by adopting another cat. I think 3 years later, I should be ready mentally and also financially to accept another set of paw prints in my life. I'm still thinking about that, but that is also another motivation for me to save up more every month to pay for student loans. So yes, cheers to new beginnings, and looking forward to see how everyone will change within this year. For the worse and for the better, we will be here together. And I will be waiting for you here next week on another episode of Lactose Intolerant. So thank you for tuning in to the 18th episode. Stay safe and have a lovely day.